Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here on this 22nd, Friday, the 22nd of December, 2023. Only a couple days before Christmas. Thank you for tuning in. Got a good show for you guys today. This is a big. It's getting. Can it get in? It's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Let's get right in there and take a look at what's getting worse. The Houthis. They're like, bring it. They're like, we don't. They're like, we want the big guy. We want to get in there and fight against America in the Red Sea, in the Red Sea. They're like, bring it right now. That's what they're like. It says we want confrontation with America, not anybody else. We want to pick on. We want to go after America right now. And this is the Houthis' big declaration against America during the Red Sea tensions. So they're not thinking about just going after the Houthis are not just thinking about going after these ships, like these cargo ships and stuff, which they've already done. As it gets worse, it gets worse. It gets worse and worse, what we're talking about. Now, what about the Israeli-Hamas war? Well, it's really heating up. Hundreds of people are killed in the last 48 hours. The Ministry of Health in Gaza says 390 Palestinians have been killed and 734 injured in the past 2 days while communications were suspended. The UN Security Council is delaying a vote on a draft resolution urging scaled-up humanitarian aid access to Gaza after another day of intense negotiations. So the war is not going away, and the Houthis are aggressive right now, and they want to take on America, as we just saw. Now, where it gets really bad here is there is Iranian involvement right now, too. An Iranian spy ship is assisting the Houthi attacks on Red Sea shipping, says intel officials. Says the Houthi war on commercial shipping in the Red Sea just escalated in a big way, at least in the minds of national security officials. Western intelligence sources have issued a new statement alleging that Iranian intelligence is directly assisting Yemen Houthi forces with targeting information. It says Iran's paramilitary forces are providing real-time intelligence to the Yemen Houthis that the rebels are using direct drones and missiles to target ships passing through the Red Sea. Now, this is where it gets really bad, guys. Really, really, really bad, because most all of these big ships are carrying all of our cargo. Now here's the thing. What about our trucks that deliver our food here in America? Did you know that those trucks break down more often than you might think? They need new brakes. Oftentimes, they go through brakes like anything. They go through tires like anything. They go through all kinds of things like pumps, and they have to take them into the shop, the trucks, and keep them so that they'll run to bring our food to our stores and stuff. So they have parts stores, parts for trucks. A lot of the stores, they have names like that. The different stores that they go to, the mechanics use to fix the trucks and stuff, okay, to keep our food coming to our grocery stores. Well, where do you think those parts come from? Those parts are on ships right now that normally come through the Red Sea and through the Suez Canal, right? But now they're not. They're going to be snarled, and this is now what I'm going to talk about right now is what's really going to make it really bad. Now, see, we've been through all of this during the COVID crisis, but it never got really bad. This is going to get really bad. I'm going to explain to you guys why. Right here, this article. ships that were rerouted. Now, a massive amount of ships were rerouted now. Pretty much all of them. Everything that we have that comes, you want to get a part for your truck? You want to get a part for your vehicle? The parts are on these ships. They were just suddenly rerouted, all these ships, and now they have to go down around Africa. Okay? They're overwhelming the African ports. Africa is struggling with red tape, congestion, hundreds of vessels rerouted by Houthi attacks. Refueling in South Africa is a major challenge. It's not equipped for it. It's not equipped for suddenly to turn around all these ships from the Suez Canal in the Red Sea and send them down around the coast of Africa. It's not equipped for that. See, this is the problem. Shipping companies sailed around the Cape of Good Hope to avoid Houthi attacks on the Red Sea, faced tough choices over where to refuel, where to restock, and African ports are struggling with red tape, congestion, poor facilities, and companies, the analysts say. So you might not see your ship for 6 months. You might not see it for a year. They might be like, I don't know what to say, but it might snarl up everything. I'll give you an explanation here. This is going to take a few months to play out, but like 3 months from now or 4 months from now, you might go into your local hardware store and you need to buy, say, something simple because you got a little simple job to do. So you need some, say, a cable tightener, say one of these, say a pipe clamp. Say you need a pipe clamp, a specific size. And normally they have a whole aisle full of them. You go to your local hardware store, there's none there. You say, well, what's going on? Right? I need this clamp. My house, I'm not gonna have any water at home because I need this clamp. So you go to the hardware store, and then you go down to a Home Depot, and they haven't got any either. You go to the next store, you call all around town, you can't get any. That's because they were on a ship heading to Africa. Down in Africa, and the African ports didn't have any fuel for the ship, and the ship had to wait for 4 months to try to get fuel or whatever. See, this is what we're heading into right now. Nothing's equipped properly for this. So South Africa's major ports include Durban, one of the African largest in terms of container volumes, Cape Town, I'm not going to try to pronounce this one, Ngura Port, is among the worst performing globally. And so the ports down there are just going to be overwhelmed. And this means a backlog. And this means, well, they might let one ship through today, and then there's 80 ships waiting, and we'll let another ship through 3 days from now. They're not equipped. A small amount might get through these African ports and get the fuel they need and get the supplies they need, but they're just overwhelmed, completely overwhelmed. And so what does this mean? This means almost a dead stop to shipping, global shipping. It means probably, I'm just going to guess here off the top of my head, 10% might get through. It means the Houthis have basically effectively cut off probably, I don't know, I'm just estimating here, but I mean, don't take it as hard when I give an estimate like there, 90%. But it could be. It could be as much as that. And you're going to see it in a few months down the line on everything. Where do you think all these goods come from? America doesn't produce that much of all these, everything that we need now. It's all produced overseas. We shipped all of our industry overseas. And this is where shipping comes in. And now this has the power to become, I don't know, 3 times worse maybe than what we saw during COVID. And you guys remember shortages during COVID. This could be much, much worse. Just giving you guys a heads up on all this, because I can see this is going from bad to worse very rapidly, and I'm almost saying, can this get worse? But yeah, things can always get worse. I always remember that thing from Young Frankenstein, the movie. And the two of them were digging up a grave, you know. And they were down the hole, and it was nighttime, and it was very depressing and dark and everything else. And the hunchback guy, he looks over at the other guys digging the hole, and he says to him, uh, oh, he's not really thinking it's all that bad, the hunchback guy. But the other guy, he's like, oh, could it be any worse than this? He says to the hunchback. Could it get any worse than this? The hunchback says, well, it could be raining. And then all of a sudden there's a clap of thunder and the rain just started to pour on them while they were down the hole. So yeah, things can always get worse. But this has been getting worse, and this has suddenly raised alarm bells with me. The fact that they've diverted all these ships, and now these ports facilities are not able to keep up. This is really bad. We saw snarls in shipping, a slowdown in shipping during COVID, but this could be much worse. This could be on a factor worse. You remember how people were, the toilet paper and everything during COVID? Now, North Korea, they're saying, hey, we're going to use nukes. Anybody comes in, they threaten us with nukes, we're going to use nukes. And, I think that North Korea is extremely underestimated in the power that they have in their nukes, in their nuclear capability. At this point, years ago I was saying that North Korea is more powerful then than they thought they were. That was quite a few. But I know that they've been, all this time, North Korea has been building nukes. And I wouldn't put it past it that they could build a couple every month. And we're talking years here. How many do they got? And the thing about it is they're aiming them at North America, most of them, and at South Korea. And they probably got a few aimed at Japan, places like that too. But they hate America. The only time in the history of North Korea that they started to warm up to America and like America in any way at all was back during the Trump administration, when Trump met with the North Korean leader. There was a bit of a warming there then at that particular. Right now it's ice cold. And like I say, don't underestimate North Korea. What if they got like 20 or 10 or 20 or whatever, I don't know how many, but aimed at us? And say we stopped half of them. So say they shot 10. Let's just throw in a number out there. I don't know how many they got, but let's just say they shot 10. Say we shot down half of them. Still 5. So you're willing to lose Chicago and New York because this is the big cities they probably got them aimed at. So, taking North Korea not seriously could be a really big mistake. Just saying. Because underestimating North Korea and stuff could be a really big mistake. It would be laughable if everybody's worried about Russia taking us out. I'm just saying, guys. This is the way it could be. This world is like, don't underestimate any country's nuclear capability, is what I'm saying. And this intensifies things right here. Look at this. The Hamas war update. Hamas says no more hostages released until war ends. In other words, this is not going anywhere now. It's just getting worse. the situation in this war. With a lot of people dying on both sides, and now ultimatums being made by Hamas. That's basically an ultimatum there. Is no more hostages released until the war ends. Period. I mean, now here, Biden is pardoning thousands of convicted people that are convicted on marijuana charges. Everybody is on the stuff now. Seniors are all on it. Everybody practically. I get dispensaries everywhere. You drive down the highway, in any city, in any place. Doesn't matter where, anywhere here in North America. Here in Canada, it's even more so. But you guys probably know down in the States, it's probably, it's just everywhere. But these people are languishing in prison for something that everybody else is doing. Just something seems to be not fair about that. So I think this is a good thing that they're pardoning them from these marijuana charges. Probably the only thing that never mind, I'm not going to say it. Now getting on to the markets now. We're looking at a gold price of $20.60. And this is basically the gold price against the U.S. dollar. It's negatively correlated with the U.S. dollar. And so it's priced in dollars. But this isn't fair again. Nothing's fair out there. Things used to be a little bit more fair. But everything's getting so screwed up now. And I'm talking kind of right now about the political system. All I can do is shake my head. And what we used to call, I've always called it the injustice system. And it's becoming more so by the day. It's just so messed up. I don't even go there on my show. Wonder why I'm not sitting here talking about Biden and Trump and all this kind of stuff, I'm trying to remain neutral to this. Because it's just such a mess. It's such a screwed up mess. They are all screwed up. And what's the most, look, all the people out there, like, they had a new show come on Netflix, some movie that was produced by the Obamas, I guess, from what I gather. Anyway, they had this new show, and it was about the end of the world. Or the end of our world. So I watched like half of it, and I'd like to watch the other half, but like I got sleepy, But it was very, very interesting, and it could be somewhat similar to the way things really play out, because I was saying this on my show before that movie came out. I was saying this on my show about how when the SHTF disaster happens, you might not realize that it even happened at first. Because everybody expects to see the mushroom clouds and everything, and see it in the news and everything else, and be told that it happened. And the only thing that you witness the only thing that you might see happen is maybe your cell phones will go dead, or your power will go off, or maybe that won't even happen. Maybe your power will even stay on. And you don't even realize that you're in it for a little while, until you see strange things happening that you don't ordinarily see, and people acting different than they normally act. And then after a while, the realization might take weeks before the realization hits you. Hey, we are in a shift, and things progressively get worse and worse. Really scary times we live in right now. If you're waiting for a declaration of World War III, you might never have it. That's all I'm saying. And you might not, because when you're in something like that, You might not be able to get news whatsoever. It might be impossible to find out what's going on. Really scary. And the scariest thing about all this, too, is we all believe that there's some higher mind behind everything that's going on. Like conspiracy theories. Oh, the aliens are behind it. Or in the conspiracy theories, oh, the government's behind it. They got a secret cabal, maybe, in the conspiracy theories. But you know what the scariest thing of all would be? If there is no mind behind any of it, we're just drifting into all this. That would be more. That's true. That would be more scary than if there is some sort of a conspiracy or something like that. That's what it kind of portrays in that movie. You know, kind of alludes to some sort of a plan. Well, maybe we've been in World War III for a while now. Who knows? Just saying. In cryptocurrency today, we are taking a look at the prices here. Bitcoin is at 43,674. Ethereum is at 23.33. And XRP is at 62.2 cents. Now, what do I think? Do I think that there's no mind behind any of it? No real plan, and we're all just going? All the politicians are just going along by their bootstraps? No, I think there is something behind all this stuff, and I think maybe there is validity to some of these. There's so many conspiracy theories out there. There's like hundreds of them. Maybe one of them is correct out there someplace. But how are you going to fish through and find out which one's right? Absolutely no. Now, your belief in the conspiracy, whatever conspiracy that is that you believe in, doesn't necessarily mean that's the correct one. So it's like finding a needle in a haystack. In a world that's so much cloak and dagger right now going on behind the scenes. You know? Anyway, enough talk about that. Let's move on to the Dow Jones Industrial Average right now at 37,437. It's up 33 points on the day so far. Very strong market. Crude oil is at 74.09. It's up 20 cents. The only thing holding the crude price right now up is these wars over there, and the threat of the war. Crude price right now, because we're going into they call it a recession. It's actually a hidden depression that we're in right now that they don't care to admit. Did you know? I think it's 7 million. Now, don't hold me to that. It might be 9 million. It might be 6 million, whatever. But I think it's 7 million, I heard. It's a big number anyway. Maybe that's an underestimation. It might be 15 million. Who knows? It's a lot. It's in the millions. That's all I can tell you is it's in the millions. There's millions of men in the United States right now who don't have a job and don't want a job. It's never been like this before. They've just left the workforce. You know? And we're talking millions. It's in the millions. I don't know how many million, though. So, I mean, I think they said it was 7 million, but that may only be half of them. Like, they're always underestimating everything. Bonds and rates today. We're looking at rising yields on the long end. The 10-year is up 1 basis point at 3.9. And the U.S. 30-year is at 4.05, and it's up 2.4 basis points on the day so far. And now finishing off the show with the dollar index, which is dropping, is at 101.68 today. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Merry Christmas, everybody. guys, I'm hoping for a nice, happy, warm, peaceful Christmas for everyone out there. And we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.